oh, actually this day I can't do any more, like, how about next week? And then the response was like, yeah, we'll find a time. Didn't offer a day or anything. So I was like, okay, so it's
They're just
not
that
This is
into
dead.
it.
This is dead now.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Well, that'll.
Well,
Okay.
We'll find a time.
and they just
We
wander
won't
off.
though, unless you give me some.
Give me a day.
options. Yeah.
Well, I've never met you. This is my first time meeting you. So I don't
Yeah.
know how you are at all with social plans. Like,
Yeah.
what are your friendships? Are you extroverted, introverted? Like, what is your relationship to canceling plans?
I would say that I desperately want to be invited to everything, and I feel bad when I'm not. But then I don't always want to go. I just want to receive the invitation to go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time I will want to go, but sometimes I'll just want to be in my bed.
So is it 50-50?
You know what? I actually came here thinking, I was like ruminating on this because I knew the theme of your podcast. So I was like, what can I share about myself that was related to this? And the time that I find myself canceling plans most is in a hookup situation. Have you talked about this with other people?
No, we
No,
actually really
this
got
is
into
actually
hookups.
great. I love that you're bringing this up.
Okay. Because I am the king of scrolling and sexting and talking and flirting and blah, 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 blah. And let's meet up. And in my mind the entire time, I'm like, I'm not leaving my bed.
I actually totally know what you're talking about.
I'm making all sorts of promises of what we're going to do and this and that.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving my room. I know I'm not going to meet up with you. I don't want to leave my house.
So how do you ever talk to those people again, or is it
like
a one and done?
I'll make an excuse. Like I'll be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's all getting hot and heavy.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, actually, you know what? My friend is having an emergency.
My friend fell. She fell so
again.
far and so hard.
So but let's do it soon. And then like we might sext a few days later again, blah, 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 blah. My landlord shut off my water. I have to deal with this.
And no one have someone called you out like, hey,
They do, yeah.
I'm like turned on, and then the last second you say we're not.
Is that part of it for you? Do you get off on people
No.
like getting them worked up and being like, bye?
No. It has nothing to do with like being
Paul.
mischievous or like screwing them over. It's more like, yeah, it would be so awesome if you were here right now, but I don't want to get up and get ready and shower and drive and park.
No, it's too
The
much.
parking of
And I'm
it
not going to invite you over because I don't want to have to clean my room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is this person actually engaging to talk to you? Do I want to meet them, or am I just searching for someone who
horny?
Yeah, either I'm horny or do I just want someone to think that I'm hot? And then
That plays a part of yeah, that's hot too.
But then once that feeling goes away, I'm like, do I even really want to leave? It'll be no matter what, leaving the house, like, then it used to be like, okay, for a low maintenance meeting up with someone for like to get a drink, that's like a $30 night. $30 nights are now $60 nights.
100%.
Maybe even $100
$30
nights.
Uber, $25 cocktail.
Yeah, so it's like it's gotta be a lot to really go.
And even if it's not like a hanging out, getting drinks, getting to know each other kind of thing, if it's like a
Come to my place.
like a hit it and quit it kind of situation, I've done those where it's like afterwards I'm reflecting on it, I'm like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
I drove all the way here.
Mm-hmm.
This took so much time. I could have just stayed home.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, now I'll know for next time. I don't have to do that.
When you're when you're like going to like a hookup or something, I guess like the like, is there beyond just, do you talk to people at all, or like is there a sort of like a
Oh, like once I'm there?
Yeah, once you're there, like, do you get anything other than just purely like the hookup at all?
Yeah, like
from it?
It'll depend. Like sometimes like I'll actually feel like they're a pretty cool person and we'll like get to talking and then like, hey, let's actually like
develop feelings
at each other and like be normal humans around each other. And other times it truly is like, I don't know your name, you don't know my name. Maybe I gave you a fake name. That's what I would actually earlier in my 20s I would give fake names.
Yeah, what was your fake name?
Chris, which isn't even that imaginative. But you know what it was? Like I used a fake email because this was back in the day of using Craigslist to find hookups. Did you ever do a Craigslist?
I looked, I never went.
I would use that as kind of a means, which is bad because then now there's like email,
you can
like
trace it.
receipts that just are out there. But I would be so paranoid that like, oh, I'm gonna hook up with somebody. What if this comes back to haunt me one day? So I got to give them a fake name so that they can't say that they hooked up with me.
Yeah. That's.
I'm so.
Is that weird?
No, I don't think that's weird.
I think it's responsible.
Like I was like 22, you know?
Especially at a time when like
Yeah.
I feel like we were always told growing up that like be careful what you post on the internet.
Yeah.
It'll come back. But that wasn't really the case until I think maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like that just started like
Mm-hmm.
there just recently started being consequences, real life consequences for online behavior or like whatever the fuck whatever you put on.
You know, employers look at your
like it
Instagram or
people weren't as terminally online, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I think you may have been onto something being like, I don't know, things are moving pretty fast.
Yeah.
I'm going to use a fake name.
When I was 22, it was like, I'm going to go sleep with this random person from Craigslist, but I have the foresight to know that when I'm 35, I'll probably have a career I'm proud of.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get fired when they find out that I had sex with this man from Craigslist. So I have to give him a fake name. Never mind that he has my full face photos, but as long as he thinks my name is Chris, my career will be safe.
And little did you know that you would be then telling that story on a podcast.
On a podcast.
Yeah,
and it would be fine.
Now I'm going to be fired for revealing it to you.
Yeah. I'm insanely jealous
Yeah.
of like gay men's ability to have
Gay.
sorry.
I'm just kidding.
extremely straight men's ability. No, but just like gay men's ability to like have anonymous sex or to go on Craigslist.
I mean,
like,
it's both good and bad. I mean, like on the one hand, it's like, wow, so liberating and free that we can just like do this. And then, but then it's also like you kind of dissect it sometimes, and you're like, why?
I think it just depends on like the people that it's. I feel like it was hit or miss. Oftentimes, where it's like you can have fun, it's feeling freeing. The other person's like cool and fun and hot, and it's hot and fun and cool. But then there are other times where even like from the jump, you're like, it's gonna get hot and fun and cool soon. It's gonna get hot and fun and cool soon. And then halfway through, you're like, oh, I feel bad. This person is like not making me feel good. I don't know if that you've ever experienced that, but like there were times when I would leave and be like, I think that person was just mean to me, and I let them be mean to me for no reason. And I came here.
Has this ever happened to you where like either of you maybe like you kind of don't even want to hook up once you get there? Like maybe the chemistry's not really all that it was going to be, or you thought that they were going to be a slightly different person, but then you just kind of go through with it because you're already there. Yeah. That's what would make me feel weird. It's like I would show up and be like, I'm not really even into him the way that I thought.
Yeah.
But I came all this way.
The build up.
I don't want it to think I'm a flake, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do
or
it.
Or a tease or whatever.
But the times that I've straight up been like, hey, you know what? I'm not really feeling it. I'm sorry. I think I'm going to head out. Then I always feel good that I did that.
It's so funny. My dad called me this morning and was like, I sometimes don't like when you talk about your sex and love life on the pod. I was like, Dad, then don't listen. Like, scroll through it. I don't know.
We're going to cut it out, but Mary just said really vulgar, really explicit stuff.
I just said some crazy shit to Paul, and it really made him uncomfortable. No, I think we all have our quirks. So I think I definitely have moments where I'm like, oh, I should not judge this because what if this person has this kink?
Yeah,
this
it's always
exact kink that I'm making a joke of. Yeah. But also in comedy, we make jokes about sexual stuff and we make jokes about kinks.
I guess if it relates to like you're making light of something that you do or something like that, then it's like, oh, that's funny. But if you're like, I dated this weirdo and guess what, you guys, like he wanted to eat my ass or something, and meanwhile half the audience is like, that's not even weird.
Yeah.
In fact, that's pretty vanilla nowadays.
Yeah.
I just that's so funny you mentioned. Just this morning I was thinking about
vanilla.
my willingness. I was like, just this morning I was like, I want to eat ass today. No, I was thinking about my willingness to like divulge details about my sex life or like even like my relationships or like stuff like that. This might just be a thing that you grow into, or like as you get old, as your brain develops, you'd like realize like that might hurt someone's feelings or whatever. Yeah. But I was like, oh, I felt so much more willing to mine from my relationships when it came to
content.
Yeah, just like writing or performing or even just like stand up and shit. And like now I would feel so weird doing it, and it doesn't bother me that I would limit myself like that. I think before I had almost like a petulant thing where I was like, I'm not going to be limited in my artistic expression just because someone has feelings about whether or not I liked that date or not. I'm going to tell jokes about our bad date. I'm like, that's so fucked up to do.
It is. And so that actually happened to me. I was the victim of it.
No.
Wow.
I hooked up with someone. Then the next day, I see he made like a comedy TikTok talking about it.
Oh, that's obviously not naming you, but you still know it's you. Not naming me,
but and like it was clear it was inspired by our hookup because like some of the details aligned, but then others were fully made up.
Totally.
So then I was like,
exaggerated
wait,
shit.
what?
Yeah.
So weird.
I think dating stand-ups, you almost have to like have a stand-ups or content creators. You have to have a discussion. I think, hey babe, don't want you to talk about our love life or sex life in your show.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's my. It's like then break up. Then it's not going to work. Or hey, I'm okay with you totally talking about me online. But for a first-time hookup or like not someone you're not even dating.
Like it wasn't even funny. It was like weird and like kind of half making fun of me. But the things he was making fun of me about were like not real details. So maybe it was like a mishmash of like other different hookups into one story. I don't know.
Outside of like hookups and stuff, like do you have any memories of moments when you were like, I made a plan, or like that should have happened, or it didn't
show up to your birthday,
like I made a plan, or like we were all gonna hang out after school, that didn't happen.
Because some people were like not like that as a kid, and then they turned into adult like this, or vice versa. Like
I think one thing that has like kind of plagued me since being young was like this idea that I like wasn't cool, like I wasn't one of the cool kids. So like I remember in middle school, no, I guess it would have been high school, like Sweet 16s were like, if you were invited to the Sweet 16, that said something about who you were. And there were a few that I wasn't invited to, from people that I thought were my friends.
Yeah.
And so those where I was kind of like, wow, this is like really a formative thing that I wasn't invited to this person's Sweet 16.
Yeah, totally.
Not that you even like necessarily wanted to go. It's like, but it would have been nice to have been invited.
Like,
and you have to show face at these events to like be in the crowd or whatever it is. It's very political sometimes in high school.
Yeah, so I think that's what it was. And Sweet 16s are largely the same. You hear the same songs at everyone, and they do the same kind of stuff. Like, they're not necessarily always going to be fun.
It's just that it's the principle, though, of going.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't get the invite.
Yeah. In high school, I used to do this thing where I, like, I liked to, I remember I drank, like, around, like, 16, 17. I was, like, one of the kids that, like, was the first to get, like, drunk and have the parties. But there were some nights where I genuinely didn't really want to drink, but I just wanted to show face for, like, an hour at the party, like, holding a Coors Light and just being like, just making sure everyone saw me, and then
come to know that you are,
I'm cool.
Yeah,
it's showing face. It's like being like, no, keep inviting me, look at this beer I'm holding, and then just putting it down and leaving after an hour. But everyone remembered Mary was at the party. That's cool.
Yeah, she's in the Facebook album that we're gonna post about
the
party.
Exactly.
I would hang out with friends.
She's playing Pong in the back, like. Great.
I intentionally like took photos one time with friends at like a hangout where we like, I think had like a beer, but I was like, in my mind I was like, we gotta make sure these end up on Myspace
on the
so
album,
that people know that I'm someone who can be invited to parties. And
I want.
It didn't really work,
even though I don't really want to get that wasted.
You weren't invited to them.
Barely.
Were we trying too hard?
Yeah.
Was the photo evidence a turnoff?
Maybe not. Maybe the photo evidence wasn't even a turnoff. Maybe me in person was a turnoff.
It worked for me. People would be like, that Mary, she's crazy. Like, she likes to go out. And I would be like, yeah. And I literally would be nursing, of course, like the whole night. But it's like if you show face and you can like play the part, and then it's the actor in us. I
didn't drink or party in high school. I was like a little more behind my peers because I was like very studious and like very much a good boy. But my first time ever drinking was post-prom we called it prom weekend. Like the whole graduating class went down to the shore. We like rented out motel rooms.
Yeah.
And so I did drink that weekend. And like all the cool kids were their minds were blown that I was like drinking. They were all like, I want to drink with Paul. Like I want to have a beer with Paul. Like the cool, like football players and stuff.
Were you valedictorian or close to that?
Yeah, I was valedictorian.
There you go. I remember our valedictorian drank senior week.
So they thought it was like so cool. And like, not in a making fun of me way. Like they were actually excited. And I was like, oh, this is like.
It's like he's finally with us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, wow, these people were like, turns out they've wanted to hang out with me all along.
Yeah. If only I had known that.
So do you think because you were chasing that, like being in the cool group, in high school that you don't like to say no to stuff because you're like, I'm going to lose that grip on my social life. Like if I say no too many times, I'm not going to be invited again.
Yeah, when I was going to therapy for a little while, that was like, I think one of the main things I was like tackling with my therapist, which was this desire to like be seen as fun and cool and to be included. And I would feel that that wasn't the case.
That no matter what like, you did, you were like still
part of my brain knew that I was like deceiving myself and that wasn't the case. But then like, you know, that other part of your brain is like,
it's lying to you.
Yeah, but like no one really likes you though at the same time. Like,
totally.
No one texted you yesterday to hang out and you were free.
Yeah.
So,
and you were free.
Therefore,
totally.
No one likes you. So then I like was working through that. So I think it does, I don't know, that's always kind of been a thing.
I swear, like whatever happened to us in elementary school, middle school, or high school dictates the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Whatever the psychology of that, I just think it's so real.
I relate to that a lot.
Yeah.
Of just feeling like, I think especially doing like what we do and living where we live, like everyone's burdened with like not only like the whatever social anxieties that we carry with ourselves, but like everyone's like really trying to make something happen. It's just like it's so much, and I think everyone gets so sucked into like being worried that people don't like them, or whether or not they'll be invited to a thing
to the cool
that
party.
they'll then forget to like even just invite someone that they do like to a thing.
Yes,
that happens to me a lot, where I'll be, after the fact I'll be like, oh my god, I didn't even like I like did this show or whatever, and I didn't even invite my friend to do it, who I think is great
because I tried so hard to get this person here.
Or I sat in my room lonely and sad because no one invited me anywhere, but if I wanted to do stuff with people, I could have
and they would have
made
said yes.
a plan with people.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot of that. I actually thought about canceling today because I was like, that would really fit the ethos of your show. If
We've talked about it. We've decided that
no show, no call.
Just a no show, no call.
Our plan would be to like just flat out still put the person's name in the episode and say Paul Robalino
just an empty chair
didn't show up, and we're gonna talk about how that makes us feel.
But knowing your personality just from meeting you today, it's like that seems so not you to do a no show.
Oh
no call.
No, absolutely.
That seems like the opposite of like what you would that cause like crippling anxiety?
It would not even be an option. It's not even an option. I wouldn't do that to
What's
someone.
your cutoff time for like when like would it stress you out to cancel on a thing like the day of it, or
it really
do you need to go earlier to be like, I feel cool, comfortable doing this
now? It really depends on what the thing is. Recently I canceled on someone the day of something, but it was like they had invited me, like I had a very valid reason, which was like I was up against deadlines and I just really couldn't leave. But it was something that I had been invited to go watch someone's show. So it wasn't like me personal one-on-one, we're gonna spend quality time together. It was like, hey, I have these tickets to my performance, and I was like, I really can't make it. I do apologize. And that was day of.
Yeah.
But if it was like a date, I wouldn't cancel day of. Like even if I kind of didn't want to go anymore, I would still go. Yeah, that would feel rude to me.
I think that's fair. We were just saying in our last pod that like if going on a date, you need to confirm the morning of.
Yeah.
You need to say, hey, we're still on for tonight at 7 p.m. And if you don't get a text like that from the person, there's a school of thought that it's okay just not even to show up.
Even if you didn't send a text like that to them?
If they're the ones that initiated the date and asked you out and said, hey, let's get together Tuesday night, and then you didn't hear from them for a week, and Tuesday rolls around and it's like 10 a.m., there's a world where you can assume that I've never done this. I'm just saying this is a school of thought on the internet right now.
I feel like that's I would assume that the other person also wouldn't show up. So then like
same. I
no
would
one
think
shows up
they're
and
not.
No one's hurt.
But my anxiety would prompt me to send a text, especially if I was into the guy. Hey, I know we talked about this last week, but are we still on for tonight?
I would do that.
But some people are their egos get in the way or whatever, and they don't, and then they just don't show up.
I can certainly see why somebody would just assume either it wasn't happening or, well, I don't want to go out with this dude now anyway because clearly he's not like a very thoughtful person.
Yeah.
But I would probably still send that message being like, hey, are we still on?
And I have sent it actually before, and then the person's like, oh man, you know, blah, blah, blah happened and I can't anymore, but like, let's reschedule. And then I'm like, they're just not that into me.
Yeah, one time I tried to reschedule. It was like several days in advance. It was like, oh, actually, this day I can't do any more like how about next week? And then the response was like, yeah, we'll find a time. But like, didn't offer a day or anything. So I was like, okay, so it's not.
This is dead. This is dead now.
Yeah, sure. Well, okay.
We'll find a time.
And they just wander off.
Though, unless you give me some.
Give me
options.
a day. At least give me a day. You don't have to give me a time.
Yeah.
Dating sucks. You're single, right?
I'm currently single. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm single too.
I'm swiping. I'm matching. Sometimes I'll like match someone but then not really initiate convo and then we never talk. I am guilty of that.
I would say that's most of dating apps nowadays.
It feels nice to collect that like little. I used to get a real rush from like just matching with someone that I thought was really hot, and even if they didn't message me, I'd be like,
it just lives on your app now that you see their face when you open it up and they're there, and maybe they're expiring in 6 days, and for those 6 days you'll get to see them, their
I'll
picture.
get to see them, and in that moment they went, yes, I'm in.
It's a validation game.
Maybe. Or other times it's like, well, I'm not actually 100% sure that this person is a match for me, but if they initiate the convo, I will happily engage. But I don't know if I'm so sure I'm into them that I'm going to make the first move with some people.
Yeah, I hear that.
And then other people, I'm like, we matched. Oh my God. Now, how can I start the conversation? Like,
They're
what can
so
I say?
hot.
What can I say? Because I'm excited that we matched.
Yeah.
Do you have like a dating, like when you're talking to someone on the apps, do you have like I don't know, persona is like a strong word, but like, do you come in strong with like, this is what I'm trying to present on like, in these first few lines of conversation to try and.
What excites me most about like seeing someone new is when we have like a silly banter, like right off the bat.
Yeah.
So if we can do bits or we like establish some silly thing that we're both laughing about, that's what gets me most interested in actually seeing them. But in order to do that, like there needs to be something on their profile that's either different or interesting or unique or makes me think or makes me chuckle that I can like kind of riff off of. If it's very standard answers to things, then I find that very hard.
Same.
And so then I just say something like, how's your week going? And then we don't get silly. And then it's like, well...
Actually, it's hard. I've been working a lot. And you're like, oh, me too. It just goes flat.
What are you up to? Mostly just errands today.
Yes.
And you?
Yes. And you? How's your Sunday? Oh, I'm hungover, so I'm just ordering pizza. Okay.
Oh, that's fun.
Nice. Oh, it's horrible.
And they could be really great, but like...
But how would you know?
We didn't establish it right away, and then it just gets a little hard to...
Little did either of you know there's like two very fun, very like compatible people on either side of the conversation.
Him going like, why is he asking me
like,
about...
I guess I'm going to match what he's
doing. Totally.
I've had ones where like conversations where the chemistry over like the messages were like really fun. I was like, oh my God. And then either you meet them in person and it's like, oh, either that person is like not doing that or I'm struggling to like live up to how good I brought it, or that person wasn't funny. They were just like, they were mean.
Yeah.
Oh.
Where it was like, oh, like they were like really like punchy and snappy via like trying to set up this thing. And it's charming to me when like someone kind of has like a little edge to them, like in conversation, and it's like, it's fun. We can kind of play around, but then that's such a brief window to who a person is. So like you meet them in person and then they're like just bitchy.
No, yeah, I'm fully aware. Like, even though I like that and it gets me excited to spend time with somebody, after a while it's like, wait, we're literally just doing bits back and forth. I don't know anything about you.
Yeah.
We're just like, everything out of our mouths is a joke or is like tongue in cheek. What are your values?
Yeah, what are your interests? What do you want out of a relationship?
Yeah.
I know. Dating in the comedy world too, because I have this thing, I feel like you relate to this, where it's like, I only really date guys who make me laugh, but then the guys who make me laugh are usually very like emotionally stunted or have some issue. And then I'm in this place where it's like, well, do I date the guy who's boring but has great values, or do I date the funny guy who like is avoidant attachment?
I think there's a third option, which is like, they're not boring, but maybe they're not LOL. You know, they're not making you LMAO all the time, but
what if you need
they're making you smile? Well,
do you need that?
I think I do.
Yeah.
I don't know. The only guys I've ever loved, what a deep statement, are the guys that made me like really laugh.
Yeah.
So then it's possible to find that person who then you would love. But then I guess other things got in the way.
Yeah, but I I've been in serious relationships with guys that make me LOL, but I think like as I get older, it's harder to find that. I think I'm finding.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that balance too.
I've dated guys who are like, they do the "you're so funny" thing, and or like, God, that Mary makes me laugh so much.
Yeah,
and you're like, I just need you to laugh. I don't need you to comment on that it's funny or that. Just laugh and get the joke and like not necessarily do a bit with me or try to compete who's funny or blah blah. But I just need you to not be so amazed that I'm making jokes.
There was someone I knew in high school who like you would make a joke and she wouldn't laugh, but she would smile and say, "That's funny."
Yep.
That's funny.
That's funny. I could kill them.
Yeah. That really hurts my feelings.
I think I'm guilty of that sometimes.
And you don't even laugh?
You do smile and say,
I laugh.
"That's
I think I'm like I think I'm a generous laugher often.
Yeah.
And I sometimes I get insecure about my laugh, so then I'll go,
You do.
But then I'll play back an interaction with someone in my head and I'll go, they must think that I was just like really up my own ass, being like, But in reality, I was afraid that I was going to be going, ah, which is gross.
Also, when Kyle thinks something's really funny, he goes, "That was so stupid," or he'll go, "I'm so mad at you for that."
I'm so mad. I love it.
If he really thinks it's funny, he goes, "I'm
like,
so
I wish
mad."
I had come up with that.
Kind of. I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe that's where I'm like, oh, you are so like, give me your brain.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Put
Let
your
me
brain in
crawl
my
inside
skull.
there and
Yeah.
see.
I'm so mad at you. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I think that's
That's
it.
a
But
compliment.
Yeah.
Yes, but like you land on that because you know me. Saying that to like a stranger who says something
I
funny.
want your brain inside of my skull.
I want you to give, I'm gonna crack your skull open.
don't
I'm
love
so
that
mad
as
at you.
much.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, pal.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. This isn't about me and my problems.
It's about me and my problems.
It's about you. We're actually trying. I love that you've turned this episode into like a dating episode, which is like funny because we're not like I said earlier, like we're kind of like trying to be loose with themes, but I do like a theme still, and I think canceling on dates and canceling on hookups and just like that and dating app culture is so cool to talk about. Like there's just so much to talk about.
Yeah, I think I'm like such a common thing to see on Grindr profiles is like I hate flakes and things like that, and then I like in my heart I'm like I think I am one. I have
But
to
I'll
get better
sex
at
with
it.
you.
I'll sex with you. Like
And we'll have
I'm
fun.
literally showing you like extremely intimate photos. Like
my
I'm giving you
body.
something here.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's cute or attractive to have any like negative thing in your dating app.
I agree.
Where it's when someone's like, I hate flakes, and I'm like, that so do I, but something like something about like you came in here complaining already, and that makes me not want to spend any time with you.
Same on any like dating app outside of a hookup situation. Like that's such a turnoff when I see that.
Like Grindr, I've like looked through my friends' Grindrs, like in like straight dating apps or like whatever. We don't have a ton of the like no mask, no blah blah blah, like no like short. Like I've seen that on Grindr. Don't DM if you're short. Don't DM like really specific
I think
physical
that's like
attributes.
I think I've noticed that less because I think that used to be part of like people's complaints a lot more than it is now.
Yeah.
Like I remember like no fats, no femmes is like a trope at this point, but like it's been like a decade since that was like I don't see that.
You're
as
not
much.
seeing it as much. Okay.
But maybe that's because people just don't put it like
Good. I
listed
think
on
that's
there.
good. I remember
Yeah.
feeling like this is bad. I don't like this.
Yeah.
They'll put like different language into it where they'll be like if someone just says like athletic into athletic, it's like okay, this person's saying like don't text me if you're fat.
One thing I see on Hinge sometimes is like this very jaded attitude where it'll be like so excited to match and not talk.
Oh,
Totally. I've
like-
seen that too.
Okay, well,
Let's match and talk and never see each other.
yeah.
That brings us to a fun section of our pod called Listener Mail.
Oh my gosh, I love answering listener mail.
Okay. So my friend is always late to everything. Yesterday we were having a shrimp feast, and I told her to be at my house at 6 p.m. so we could get the shrimp together at 6:30. She agreed and said she'd be there. Well, 6:20 rolls around and I'm getting ready and she isn't here. I left and got the shrimp and returned, and she still wasn't
Wait,
there.
she didn't even have the shrimp to begin with?
Yeah, I guess they were supposed to get the shrimp together.
you're gonna meet up with me and we're gonna go get the shrimp and have a shrimp
Step one
feast.
is we go buy it. Just have it ready, but sorry.
Yeah, it sounds like they she wanted to get the shrimp with this person.
Yeah.
7:45 rolls around and she still isn't there. She said she was at the store still. I got so tired of dealing with how late she always was. Recently, she was 5 hours late to the last time we hung out. I'm sorry, 5 hours late? That's the hang
At
is
that
no
point,
longer
it's-
existing.
Yeah. Fully pivoting to a
That's
new
crazy.
plan.
So I said to her, look, it's going to be at least 8 by the time you get here. I don't have the patience to wait forever, and the food is cold now. I'll see you some other time. She got upset and said I need to understand that she has ADD.
Oh gosh. So now it's ableism.
So now
Correct.
it's ableism.
Correct.
And the shrimp is cold.
I'm sorry, but shrimp is served cold.
This is so funny to me because I love the phrase shrimp feast. I love that that's specifically what they were cooking because shrimp only takes 1 minute to cook.
Right.
It cooks so fast. Why didn't you have the shrimp ready at your home? Like,
Went to go get the shrimp, got the cold shrimp, made the cold shrimp hot. Hot shrimp got cold again and was
Yeah.
like,
and you can have cold shrimp like a
Yeah,
ceviche.
I
Yeah.
also like when I peel shrimp, it's cold.
Yeah, like it
I
depends on
usually-
how you're serving it. Like, are you serving it over like a Tuscan pasta with a cream sauce?
Ugh,
Yeah.
God, I'm so
You know.
hungry.
Also, the phrasing of shrimp feast implies that like this is an established thing
You're
that
gonna pick the
they've either
shrimp.
done before, or
Or that's people do.
this person is assuming that that the person they invited knows what a shrimp feast is. And apparently they didn't know that a shrimp feast means you go to your friend's place at 6:30 and then you go to the store.
You pick up-
So
well,
you park. So park your car, then walk out back. We're gonna get in my car. We're gonna drive over to the Vons. I hope they have shrimp at the store.
I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt and assuming maybe they live in like southern Florida and they're picking the shrimp up from like a dock.
Okay,
Like it's
okay.
fresh, yummy shrimp.
Okay.
Because to be honest, if Kyle was like, "Hey, come over to
Shrimp
my
feast?
hot apartment in Hollywood and like go to Vons or Pavilions and get shrimp," I'd be like, "No way, Jose!
Meet me at my place, not at Pavilions.
I don't want to get food poisoning
If
today."
you invited me to Shrimp Feast, I would think this is an event that you're hosting at your home and there's dozens of people gonna be there. Like it's okay if I'm late.
Right.
But if you're inviting me over to cook dinner together, then I'll be there on time.
And feast on
If
shrimp.
you're like it's Shrimp Feast 2024, maybe I would think it's okay to show up at 8.
See, have you been invited to someone's home for dinner and then they haven't cooked dinner yet? Because that really,
Pisses us off.
really
Where
gets
they
my
haven't
ass.
even started.
Haven't even started.
But it was clear that they were inviting you to cook something they had made for you.
Yeah. So there's like I've been invited several times to people's homes, and it's like we're like, come over for dinner. I'm gonna make us dinner, and like you're coming over at like 7:30, 8. So I would assume that like dinner would be like finishing up or done.
Already ready.
And they're like, you say hi, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna start, and I'm like, what do you mean?
And you're famished.
and
what
you're
do you
so
mean?
hungry.
Yeah. They're like, okay, we're gonna go to Pavilions. Come with.
If they're putting the finishing touches on, that's happened to me plenty of times.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
And I'm
no,
like,
that's-
is there a way I can help?
And you want it to be like served immediately as you're
Yeah.
there. Like that's cute.
No, the finishing touch is totally acceptable. But if you're just boiling the water for the pasta and it's 8 o'clock,
I'm waiting.
if you came at 5 and they have a cheese board out and wine,
Yeah.
totally acceptable.
Abs are fair.
And if there are other people there, like, you guys hang, I'm just going to finish up in the
Yeah.
kitchen.
Mm-hmm. There's a whole vibe there, but like one-on-one, I'm gonna start making dinner. It's 8 p.m. is insane behavior to me.
I'd be furious.
I can't say that actually has happened to me before,
Really?
but
It's
So I'm
definitely
alone.
happened to me. I get so
Yeah.
anxious. I'm sitting there just like, "Ugh, so mad at them.
Do you have a late dinner or an early dinner?
typically late dinner, like an
Oh,
8, 9.
Oh.
Oh,
So
nice.
you're an 8. So you're kind of like, why are these people so upset about an 8 o'clock start time to cook?
You mean with regards to Shrimp Feast?
No, just in general, like Kyle and I being so perturbed if we go to someone's
Yeah.
house
No,
at 8.
no. If I were inviting people over for a meal, like, I would choose a more sensible time.
Mm.
Because I'd be like, oh,
Totally.
we're also going to be doing games. We're also going to be having wine. We're also going to be sharing chisme. We're also going to be,
Watching a video of Diana DeGarmo.
discussing ideas.
Yeah.
And watching music videos. Diana DeGarmo,
Yeah.
runner-up of American Idol season 3.
Yes. Have you
Yeah.
ever seen videos of her in Hairspray?
No.
Oh,
Wow.
get into it. She played Penny. She's really good.
I did have a MP3 of her singing "Don't Cry Out Loud" that I
An
downloaded
MP3.
from Kazaa or Shazam, not Shazam, Kazaa or
Kazaa.
LimeWire.
Yeah, LimeWire. Yeah.
Yeah.
An MP3. You saying MP3?
Well, because like you would just rip
yeah,
the file,
and you'd
Yeah.
have the like .mp3 on your iPad.
and every now and then it would be like AOL Music first listen, and it would just like be a watermark.
Wow.
I don't hear enough audio watermarks anymore.
Because you're streaming music legally these days.
Yeah. But where's the fun?
We're not doing
102.7. Like it would just be into the track.
Yeah, totally. Wow, well, this was so lovely.
You guys, I had a lovely time.
It
Thank
goes
you
by
for
so
having me.
fast when you have someone fun to talk to.
Hear that?
Fun to talk to.
Fun to talk to.
Fun to talk to.
It's going on my dating profile.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you want to like tell the people about?
I do a lot of online stuff, and if you want to stream any of it, it's at dropout.tv. We've got some great comedic shows on there that I'm very proud of.
Yeah, watch it. It's really good.
Go stream.
Yeah.